Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 46 and today we are starting things off on top of my island without a mustache. I've actually heard the news that Zombie Cleo has located my mustache, so we might actually have to meet up with her and try our best to get that one back. But I'm actually starting things off on this island because in today's Hermitcraft episode we are going to be working on this thing. Yep, that is right. I've kind of made the decision. I've been thinking about it. I think it's time to actually start work on this thing, and I think the first thing that I want to do, as kind of a practice run for this, and also to give Scar something to look at when it comes to my terraforming style, I thought what we'd do today is I thought we would prepare this thing by doing all of the terraforming for it, and hopefully creating a really cool looking place. But I thought I would make this a tiny bit more interesting by adding a sort of challenge element into it. Now this is quite a big island and terraforming does not come naturally to me in the slightest. So I'm going to give myself 10 hours to go through that thing. 10 hours to finish up this island. It looks small at this point in time, but I can promise you, I mean, I really do struggle with this sort of thing. So let's see if we can manage to pull it off. Now, I think the first thing that I'm going to have to do is obviously none of this needs to be in my inventory, that's for sure. I think they're okay to go in because they're only used in the small storage system. I panicked then because that would have broken the entire thing. Yeah, we definitely don't need redstone today. What we are going to need is we're going to need plenty of dirt, plenty of grass, and plenty of sand. Now, I'm hoping we actually have that stuff. It's probably not enough. Right, now the first thing that we've got to do is light this place up because it's a giant mob spawner, so I've done a bit of that, but also I need to clear off all of the grass on here because on these modern islands I feel like we wouldn't really get overgrowths like this. Now I'll be totally honest, I couldn't actually remember what my terraforming looked like, so I just popped through to the Hermitcraft episode because I couldn't actually find the world that I'd done this in, and yeah, this is it. So it's kind of accentuated Minecraft style. Super geometric. We've got big chunks of area going on here. Right. This is going to be so tricky. Especially considering this is actually quite a flat island. Alright, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to start working on it. I'm going to start taking chunks out of this thing. And we're going to start digitizing it or geometrifying it. Oh, yeah, I think that's a better term. Alright, things have started. I think I've actually geometrified it a little bit too much. I've actually gone a little bit too far. Oh, I can feel this is going to be a complicated one. Yeah, definitely. We've gone a little bit too far, and also those repeating chunks right there, they don't look very good. So I need to smooth it out a tiny bit and mix in some slightly different shapes, maybe add in some extra bits that are sticking out further. And then it should end up looking okay. But first, we need to do some serious resource gathering. I'm going to fill up some shulker boxes with sand, and also fill up some with dirt as well. To give you a quick update on this challenge, we are 1.5 hours in, and this is what we've managed to pull off so far. So, I think that means that we're making fairly good progress, I'm fairly certain. And I think I've managed to clear it up so that it now looks a little bit less kind of repetitive, and looks a lot more natural whilst also looking digital. I really struggle with the vocabulary, especially when describing this sort of terraforming, because this isn't like anything that I've really done before. But I think now what I want to do is I'm actually going to stretch out this grass area. I think all of this sand here kind of needs to go. We need to make sure that the grass actually extends all the way out to this area here, so this is quite a small little beach going all the way around because I don't really like this mass of sand here. Okay, we are now 2.5 hours into the process, and I have made it so we started over here. This is kind of like the starting zone, and we are now over in this corner. Yeah, so we're making our way around the corners, and it's all looking quite cool if we just fly up like this, which, by the way, I'm now absolutely loving my Riptide Trident because I really don't have many firework rockets left. This is what it's looking like. Now, I feel like that sand block definitely needs to go, but I think it looks pretty cool. And if we take another look at it, maybe off in this direction, it's definitely different, isn't it? Okay, so we need to sort out that. That needs to be changed. It looks pretty crazy. It looks pretty crazy. And it definitely looks futuristic, that's for sure. Alright, I'm going to keep working on it. We're going to keep slogging on through. I'd say we are on set to actually do this in today's episode, which is going to be nice. And you know, I've been thinking while I've been doing this, I wonder if there's any way that you could do this using custom terrain generation. Like, if you could dial up some form of setting in the Minecraft game code that would then create terrain that actually looks like this. I'd be interested to see that. I know some of you guys out there are geniuses with the code. But obviously, I'm still over here doing it by hand, and I have to say, we are now done in terms of the outskirts. The edges of the island have been completed. I am going to run around and just fill in a few details and kind of work on it a little bit more. But if we shoot up to the top using my Riptide Trident, which, as I said earlier on, I absolutely love now, this is how it is currently looking. So I'm not going to repeat all the things that you've already heard me say during today's episode, which is, it looks digital, I like the way that it looks quite cool. I'm just happy to say that it is now finished at this point in time for the edges. The things that we need to work on are actually the central bits, and I have no idea what to do. I really don't know what to do. I mean, do we just kind of flatten it? I mean, I guess flattening it makes sense, I suppose. I suppose just kind of harden off these edges here a little bit more, mix them in with what we have going on here and just hope for the best. Yeah, that's probably the move. There we go. That has done it. That looks like something out of a different game. Check that out. Alright, so we have got... this is our island. So this is the small island over here that we are going to be doing bits and pieces with. I mean, I've been floating some ideas around, so as you guys know, I mentioned it in the previous episode, so my plan is that I'm going to have a mob farm off in this area over here. It's going to be a really big project, and we're going to work really hard on it, and it's going to be in line with this build. So it's all going to be symmetrical, but then this island is going to have some form of building on it. It's going to have buildings on it. It's going to have multiple buildings. Don't really know what that is yet. I've actually floated an idea that it could be like a rival town. So we can have this city here, and then we can have a city that uses a different type of block. So maybe some darker blocks, and they could almost be like rivals. That could be good fun. But for now, I just really wanted to get this thing constructed. And I have to say, it's gone pretty well in terms of the actual brute force of the terraforming. Now what we have to do is start adding in all the details. And I think the first thing is to get this place lit up with something that isn't torches. I still can't believe how expensive this place is, by the way, Escal. I mean, normally, you know, at this point in the season, people start to drop their prices a little bit. 4 diamonds per stack. You've got to be having a laugh. And how much is it for Dark Prismarine? What? He's got to be joking. I wish there was some way that I could set up the F3 screen so I didn't have to have all the details on there, and I could choose what appears. Because for the most part, I mean, I don't read any of the stuff on the right-hand side. I only read probably about 4 lines on the left-hand side. It'd be really nice if there was some way that I could just kind of customize my F3 screen so that it only showed certain details, like light level and coordinates, and direction of facing. That'd be it. You know, this is one of my favorite things to do in Minecraft 1.13. I call it the drown dance. So it turns out they can only track the player when they stand in water, which means that you can kind of get them to, you know, follow you and then not follow you, and it looks hilarious when there's a bunch of them. I think this is everything. So I've been wandering around this island for quite some time, placing in all of the blocks, and I've been looking at this number that is just behind this area here. That says 9 block at this point in time. That is the light level of the block, and if it goes down to 7, then that means that it's a spawnable block. So we'll get monsters appearing there. But as far as I can tell, yeah, the whole island should now be covered and should now be bright enough to be mob spawn proof. So now we take a look at this thing for the first time without any torches on it. I mean, it looks cool. It does look cool. I think once we start getting some buildings on there, that's definitely going to improve things quite a bit. But no, I have to say that this has been just so interesting for me, because that is totally different to anything that I've done in Minecraft before. It looks completely bonkers in a good way. It looks like a piece of modern art. It's like the modern art island. Okay, well, what else do we need to do? Nothing, to be quite frankly honest with you. At this point in time, there is nothing for me to do on this island. So, we've absolutely killed it. I've finished this challenge in about half the amount of time that I was actually expecting to. So, let's move on to the next bit, which is to actually start planning out where our mob spawner is going to be going. Technically, that is my island as well. I did lay claim to that, but I think we might forget about it. In fact, I might actually take that out at some point, maybe in today's Hermitcraft episode. Either way, what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the distance from this island to this island, and then we're going to take that distance again, and that's where our mob farm is going to be going. Somewhere over here. Oh. What exactly is going on here? Just... What? Did you just sort of fly past Punch? And how did he turn around in that tunnel? He just likes to show off, doesn't he? He's bizarre. And Green has literally just suggested the thing that I'm about to start working on, which is quite interesting. Anyway, I've worked out the distances, and this is where the edge of the farm is going to be. So we are perfectly in line with that line of sea lanterns there, and we are 80 blocks from the edge of this island, and this island is 80 blocks away from my area here, which means that in theory, we shouldn't be loading the farm too much and causing loads of lag for all of the hermits on the Hermitcraft server. Now this farm is not necessarily going to be a mob farm, it's actually going to be a creeper farm, because I need gunpowder for firework rockets, to be honest with you. And I'm not really too fussed about all the other mob drops, and it is going to be going in this area here. And for those of you who aren't familiar with a lot of the common mob farm designs nowadays, they tend to be kind of diamond shaped. Can we just take a moment to appreciate the fact that A, Green has just fallen from a high place, and that brings me great pleasure, but also the fact that I got onto the top of this base with one fire of my Riptide Trident from that dirt block all the way back there. I mean, I can't believe I blasted this thing. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to everyone that was shouting at me down in the comment section telling me this thing's great and I wasn't really listening. It's amazing. Okay, now seriously. First firework rockets and now food. Are you joking? Are you joking? How am I meant to survive on this server anymore? Thankfully, Exumavoid sells fish, so I should be absolutely fine. Anyway, we are now off of the Hermitcraft server, and we're in a single-player world. This is actually a world built by gnembons, who has created some very ridiculous mob farms. I'll put a link to the video down in the description, but this is one of the ones that interests me the most. You see, down underneath all of these stone bricks, we have got ourselves a bunch of spawning platforms, and they have water dispensers on them that push out creepers. Only creepers can spawn here because of these trapdoors, and those creepers eventually make their way into the center here where they get killed, and all of their items get picked up by hopper mine carts that are underneath those magma blocks, and all of the items will make their way into a storage system. I mean, it seems pretty good to me. And by the way, the reason that nothing's spawning right now is because I'm way too close. When I start to get further away, then that's when the magic really starts to happen. Now, the reason that this design is so fast is because actually it's close to the floor. If you know anything about mob spawning, which I really don't, so you should probably watch gnembons' video, but the little bit that I do know is that sub-chunks are a thing. So we all know about horizontal chunks, but chunks also work vertically as well. And when it comes to mob spawning, the smaller the number of sub-chunks that you can actually occupy with the mob farm, the better. And they go from the bottom of the world. So this loads a very small number of sub-chunks because there's absolutely nothing really above it. So that means that it cycles the mob spawning faster. I think that made sense. Now here's the thing, I've been going back and forth over the past hour as to whether or not it all being in one chunk matters. So yeah, I noticed that all of the farms, or at least all the farms that I went to in gnembons' designs, were all within one chunk. So the entire farm fit within one chunk, but then the last design that he did with the nether portals didn't all fit within one chunk because the nether portals stayed in the same quarter chunk. So the farm was shifted over a little bit. So I'm making the assumption that it doesn't matter that the farm is only in multiple chunks, because this is where our farm would currently sit if it was to sit inside one chunk. So it would all go round like this, which is obviously off center from the base, and we kind of do want it to be on center. But I don't know. Yeah, I've been trying to do my best to do a lot of research here, but I'm just too stupid. So let me know down in the comment section. Oh, and just to quickly clarify, I have watched gnembons' video and he didn't make any mention of it. I feel like he would make a mention of it, unless I missed the mention of it, which is entirely possible. Oof. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to template this thing out. Right, so this is where the outer edge would be, and then this is the actual mob farm itself, but of course, it'll be way down underneath the ground. Now, gnembons has designed some designs that actually work really well in the deep ocean, so it does seem a little bit ridiculous. And it does seem a little bit ridiculous that I would be building the one that isn't necessarily designed for the deep ocean, but all of the mob farms I've ever built in Minecraft have been built way up in the sky, and I really want to build one underneath the ground. So what we're going to be doing with this design is obviously I'm going to be building it underneath the ground, and then we're going to have to clear out all of this water. So all this water is going to have to go, just because A, I think it will look cool, but B, I mean, it needs to be gone. And then down underneath the ground there, that's where our mob farm is going to be, and that's where it's going to be farming all of our creepers, and that's where we're going to be getting all of our mob drops, and then I guess those drops will actually make their way over to the island. Those guys are so insanely overpowered. I hate them. Anyway, as I was saying, so when it comes to clearing out the water, I think I'm going to use sand. And I've been doing some basic calculations. So to clear out one chunk and go down 32 blocks, which is roughly how deep that ocean is there, it's going to take 8,000 bits of sand, which isn't really that bad. It sounds bad, but it's the equivalent of 1.5 double chests, or nearly 2 double chests, I guess. But we're clearing out slightly more than a chunk. So I would say it's probably, I mean, if we add 3, so that'd be maybe 22 by 22 by 32, then it goes up to 15,500, which is starting to sound like a little bit more. Okay, so that's still maybe, give me a second. Okay, yeah, it's 242 stacks, which once again sounds like a lot, but when there is 54 stacks in one chest, so that is the equivalent of, yeah, around about five double chests. Nothing too crazy. I guess I'm just gonna have to repair up my shovel and get going, and this doesn't even have mending on it. What on earth? God, I haven't done that for a while, and that is costing a fortune as well. Whoa, 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 whoa. I used up all my levels. Despite that, I do now have a fully repaired shovel. Obviously, I am going to need it. So now I've popped over to the desert. I've got my 10 shulker boxes over there, which should give us enough storage space for all of this sand. So let's get to it. And you know what? I think I've concluded that this isn't going to be particularly very interesting for those of you who are watching this video. I'm just brute force mining out some sand. It's not exactly going to blow your hair back. So what I think I'm going to do today is, because I've kind of run out of time for this episode, I think I'm going to round things up, and I'm going to mine this sand between this episode and the next one, so that when it comes around to the next episode, we can actually start work on this project. We can start clearing out the ocean. Well, first off, what really needs to happen is I need to read through your comments and try and do some extra research as well between this episode and the next one on what the spawning mechanics are when it comes to building this mob farm, because I really want to make sure that we don't build this in a stupid location that makes it very, very just because I want it to be efficient. It doesn't need to be crazy efficient, but if I build it in a way that's silly and it like halves the efficiency or even quarters the efficiency, then I'm going to be a little bit upset. So yeah, I'll do my research, and then when we come back onto the Hermitcraft server, we will have a full bunch of sand ready to clear out the space, and then we can start building up our mob farm. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I really do hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please press that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later. You know what? I don't want to be here anymore. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. I'm surprised there was only one of them. I think I've got lucky there, but the desert in the dark is never fun anyway. I'm done.